Hey guys, Wolves here again. Another video. I know a lot of videos this Monday. I just wanted to go over this class or this assignment for the class, and it's for those of you guys who are working at home or who are just kind of maybe struggling, didn't quite pay attention to the in-class discussion. So here's what I'm looking for. This is personal writing. First of all, I want to get into your heads that there's a few reasons why we write. In school, we do a lot of writing to kind of show what we know. Like teachers would be like, "Do you know this information? Oh yeah, prove it. Write about it." We also write to learn, note taking. Writing helps us process information if we take it from one place and then put it in our own words in another place. That's one reason why English teachers are so nitpicky about paraphrasing. If you can paraphrase something you've just read, if you can take something you've read and put it in your own words and write it down in another place, that shows that you understand it. But there's another reason why we write, and that is to think. A lot of the writing that I think you'll enjoy most is when we write to think. So I'm asking you here a question that I want you to think about, and it deals with it takes an idea from literature, brings it into our personal lives. But the purpose here of this writing is not to maybe explain something you already know, but to maybe kind of figure something out. So as you write, you're not necessarily thinking, okay, I need to have my main idea and then bullet pointed list of supports and all that kind of stuff. You're writing to think this through. So I'm not going to be assessing this for like Englishy stuff like do they have a clear introduction and body paragraphs and all this kind of stuff. This is a chance for you to write to think to work something out in your own way. So here's what we're working with. So when I read Lamb to the Slaughter and Prey the first times, I was like, oh, those are cool stories. I think that the author did a good job of writing fun little story that has a neat twist ending. But I've read those stories like at least a dozen times, if not more. And the more I read them, the more I wonder if there's more meaning we can pull out of them. And I start to think about Mary and Amelia as protagonists and this theme of escape. In each story, there's this hunter versus prey theme, this motif, this big idea. And each of the protagonists is trying to escape something, literally. Mary, in the case of Lamb to the Slaughter, is trying to escape the detectives. She's trying to escape. She's trying to evade capture by the police, like literal, like cat and mouse game kind of there. And then Amelia is literally trying to escape a murder doll hell bent on, sorry, on her on getting her. So there's this literal aspect of escape, but at the same time, I think about um, Mary at the beginning of the story. What is she doing? She's waiting for her husband to come home, and she's talking about how much she just loves it when he walks in the door and sits next to her, and she gets to get him some whiskey and cook him some food, and there's not really a whole lot of stuff there that implies that Mary likes anything specific about Patrick's personality. It's almost like she just kind of enjoys being the dutiful housewife of the 1950s, that whole thing we talked about with the setting map. And then all of that gets shaken loose when Patrick is like, I'm out. And she snaps, she kills him. And then there's this passage in the story where she talks about how perhaps being caught and given the punishment for murder would be a relief. And that kind of got me thinking, like maybe Mary didn't just feel like she was going to be trapped by the police, but maybe Mary felt like she was trapped in her own life at the beginning of the story. And even though it's a series of unfortunate events, now she doesn't. I mean, she giggles at the end. She's excited. She's excited for the future that she has in front of her. I don't know. And then Amelia. Think about Amelia. Yes, she literally has to escape the murder doll. But at the beginning of the story, she also has to escape her mother, and she doesn't really. Amelia's mother is very controlling. We talked about in class how there's this kind of hunter prey vibe between Amelia and her mother. Her mother uses guilt and the silent treatment as a weapon against Amelia to keep Amelia where she wants to keep her. And at the end of the story, while technically Amelia is no longer herself, um, she escapes, in a sense, that relationship with her mother, in a what we can only assume will be brutal way. Anyways, yeah, these are things I think about when I read stories, and I hope as we kind of go through the semester as we read stories, you'll think, okay, what's literally happening in the story, but we're also going to talk about, what the big meaning is and the themes. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to reflect upon your own personal experiences in relation to this concept of being trapped, of feeling trapped, like you can't escape a specific situation. And I want you to write about what changed. How did you change? What did you do specifically to get out of that situation? Now, this can be literal. This doesn't have to be too deep. You don't have to talk about anything you don't want to talk about. This is personal writing. I understand that. but you will be sharing it with me. I will be reading this. I'm not reading it for accuracy per se. I'm just reading it for how clearly you're able to express your ideas and to see you kind of think things through writing. So this could be literal. Maybe like you were trying to get better at a specific skill or activity, and you just kind of hit a stopping point. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a cartoonist slash comic book artist. I loved to draw, drew all the time. But at a certain point, I kind of got stuck, and I had to start taking bigger steps to kind of get out of a rut in terms of my artwork. So think about that, or maybe it could be something more figurative. Maybe you got stuck in a kind of a rut in your life, and you weren't particularly excited about something that you used to be excited about, and you had to change your outlook on something. This is for you to write about. So take this any way you want. I've given you guys some notes here in the assignment itself. Read this. If you have any questions or concerns, send me an email, walls@mcnary.org, or leave a private comment on this. So I'm assigning all this stuff on Monday, and we'll be moving on to poetry and stuff like that Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. See if you can get this knocked out today and tomorrow, but try to have it done by Friday at the latest. Shoot for around 150 words, maybe 300. A good solid paragraph or two, maybe longer if you want to. That's okay. So make a Google Doc in this assignment. If that's giving you fits, let me know. I can show you how to do that. Hope you guys are having a good day, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow. Wait, where am I going?